Jesse, QB or defense? What's more important?
Okay. So I did some research on this, so bear with me as I go through this here. Okay. So I went through the last 12 years. So since 2010, we can go back to the history of the league, but I feel like the league has really changed since 2010, essentially. So doing research, only 3 top scoring defenses in the league have won a Super Bowl since 2010. Those teams are the 2010 Packers, 2013 Seahawks, 2016 Patriots, who all also had top 10 quarterbacks. Okay. If we look at top 10 quarterbacks for that year to win a Super Bowl, 9 out of the 12 years, a top 10 quarterback has won. The only 3 that did not, or that were not top 10 quarterbacks, were Flacco, who played like a top 10 quarterback in the playoffs. 1,100 yards passing, 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in their playoff run. That's incredible. Foles, who had 971 yards passing in 3 games, 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in their playoff run. Again, played like a top 10 quarterback. The exception is the team that you mentioned, which is the Broncos. Now, if you look at the Broncos that season, they were the top defense when it came to yards. They were not the top defense when it came to points. Peyton Manning was a game manager that year. Actually was not a good game manager that year.
In the playoffs, he was. In the playoffs, he was.
Yes.
In the regular season, he threw 17 picks.
That is the key.
17 picks,
Yes, and I'm glad that you brought that up. So what's interesting is I find that team very similar to this team. Jimmy's not the best game manager, right? No. And Jimmy is not going to turn into what Foles did or what Flacco did. He's not going to do that. He's not going to do that. So what we can hope for him to do, though, is do exactly what Manning did, which is help win the turnover battle. And then the defense allowed no more than 18 points in all 3 games, and that's how they won the Super Bowl.
That's right.
So really, the blueprint is the 2015 Broncos.
Yeah.
The likelihood of that happening, however, is very, very slim to none. It just is. And if you're looking at the history of the league, it gets even worse. But just over the last 12 years, quarterbacks are the most important thing when it comes to winning a Super Bowl, and it's not close.
Also, I feel like that Broncos team kind of lucked out. Like, they faced the Panthers. If you remember that team, like, they were 15-1, but their best skill position player was like Philly Brown, Ted Ginn. Like, Cam Newton was having a great year, but looking back, he was not an all-time great quarterback. Yeah, I mean, they just didn't have a super talented offense, and that was a great defense, and they got punked hard. So the Niners have maybe an equally good defense, but if they do make it to the Super Bowl, there probably is going to be a team coming out of the AFC that's going to be more talented than that Carolina team. But that would be the hey, you never know what's going to happen. Like right now, I was talking to someone in the press box today in the media room. How many teams would you say are legitimately good right now in the NFL? Good teams.
1 for sure.
Maybe 3. Yeah. Maybe Kansas City, Buffalo, Philly. Like, those are the teams you could say, those are good teams. Mm-hmm. Even though, like, we might need to see a little bit more from Philly. But, like, every other team, you're like, well, they got this and they got that. It's like, NFL's pretty degraded right now. So if the Niners can get their shit together, if any team can get their shit together, see. So
I think Buffalo is the most complete team in this league. I know they lost to Miami, but they had 0 of their starting secondary in that game, and they still almost won. They're the most complete team when they are healthy. But the good thing for the 49ers is they don't have to play them till the Super Bowl, and that's assuming that Buffalo makes it to the Super Bowl.